I was intrigued by the fact that it was a true story, and a story that had kind of gone, I'm a big sports fan, and had kind of gone under my radar. And when I read the script, I looked it up online and I read a little more about it and was like, I was just fascinated by it. So at a fundamental level there, I was intrigued. As I said, I am a big sports fan, and this is kind of an angle into a sports movie that you don't really see very often because it's not traditionally about sports. It's not about the big game or the big thing, or it's a little more of a story about people and how they relate to one another, especially as the story goes on, and we realize this character is learning a lot about himself as well. And then the elements attached to it were really exciting. Tom McCarthy is a friend and a fantastic filmmaker and fantastic writer. And I knew a lot about Mark and Gordon's work, who produced the film, and they've done some of my favorite sports movies around. So it all just sort of coalesced and got more and more attractive the more I learned about it. Well, when we first meet the JB, my character, he's sort of a ladies' man. He's very aggressively single, I think is the right way to put it, and very much enjoying his life as a sports agent in Los Angeles and all that entails. And basically comes up with this as an idea to make a ton of money. This idea to go to India and find two cricket players out of the sea of 1.8 billion people to basically kind of market them and turn them into, an international sensation and all of the kind of nonsense that goes around that. But what he ends up learning is that he forms a connection with these two kids and realizes that he's affecting their lives, not always positively. And so he makes the decision to actually become a force for positive change in their life and becomes much more of a father figure to the boys than I think he ever intended. Lake and I had kind of a working relationship anyway, going into the film. But her character, Brenda, is sort of the person who kind of chops away at JB and sort of calls him on all his nonsense. And she was particularly well suited for that. She's striking and tall and can be intimidating and also has a tremendous vulnerability that really plays up when she deals with the kids. And it's a good match. She's a good match for her character, is a good match for my character, and she's a good match for me. The first thing you realize when you're dealing with the boys is that they are very young. I don't consider myself very old, although time begs to differ. But they're both in their early 20s, and Suraj sort of shot to international stardom with Life of Pi. But he's a very grounded kid, and he's doing everything the right way. He's taking it all in and very present, and he's got a wisdom kind of beyond his years, and he's got great parents. So that's testament to what they've done to keep his feet on the ground. And we shot the movie, and he's getting ready to go to NYU in the fall. So he's doing everything the right way. Madhur has been around a little longer. He's been working since he was, I think, 8 or 9 in Bollywood and in obviously Slumdog. But he's an incredibly moving performer. We saw him play kind of one side, play kind of the bad guy in Slumdog, and in this he plays something completely different, which is just this sort of soulful, wide-eyed, young kid who is thrust into this bizarre set of circumstances, and he pulls it off. He's heartbreaking in many ways in the movie. I think the big message that people should take home is that home is where the heart is. Family is most important. There's a lot of ways to define family. I have friends in my personal life that I consider family. I've been taken in by a lot of families in my personal life. So you create the family that you eventually sort of deserve. And I think if you do it the right way, it's a wonderful lesson. And if you do it the wrong way, it's a tough lesson. And JB, I think, finally figured it out and did it the right way. Alan's background, he's basically an improv guy, and started in the '60s with like the early improv stuff, and is very quick. He's very fast, and so he would rewrite stuff. He would come up with new stuff, and you just got to play along. And when you're playing with somebody at that level, there's nothing better. He's such a charismatic guy. He's so funny. And he's just lovely. I looked forward to days when I got to work with him, and I hope I get a chance to do it again. Craig is the Energizer Bunny. I mean, he was our, he was our leader in India, and when people started flagging, you just looked to Craig, who's running around and covered in sweat, but just having the time of his life. And I can remember coming back one day after a really hot day. They were all hot days, but I think this day I got up to about 120. And all I wanted to do was fall into the pool, and I was walking my way down to the pool, and I see Craig on the treadmill, running on the treadmill. I knocked on the window. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you have to be as tired as I am." And he just kept going. And I know a little about what it takes to direct something, and you got to be that guy to everybody. You have to set the example, and he did a wonderful job of that. Shooting in India was fascinating in every way, shape, and form. We're here in the shadow of the Taj Mahal, and an angle not a lot of people get to see. This is actually the back of the Taj. And the whole experience has been like that for me. Just a lot of parts of India that a lot of people don't get to see. Not only Agra, but Lucknow, a lot of parts of Bombay that people don't go to see. And everywhere we went, we were treated like with friendly faces and smiles, and everybody was very enthusiastic. The amount of like sort of free production value you get when you shoot on location is immeasurable. And when you shoot on a location like India that a lot of people haven't seen, especially a lot of Westerners where they haven't seen a lot of the cities in India, and not to mention the countryside where we got to shoot. So we got to show that, and it just looks a lot better than a backlot on a studio somewhere, and it's real, and you get happy mistakes like cows wandering through the shot, or what have you, and it just makes it more believable and real, and serves to tell the story that much more fulfillingly.